Okay, welcome back. We have a lot of information to cover. First of all, we talked about streamlined installment agreements, paying the IRS based on the amount owed, not on what your financial information shows you can pay. So everybody, and it's very consistent. Most people think that the IRS is going to try to get every penny that they can. You've got to think of this like a business. It's the biggest business or collections company in the world. That's what the IRS is, just run by the government. And two, they want easy money. They don't want to have to chase you. They don't want to have to fight with you. So if you come up and say, hey, I'll pay it within 6 years, 72 months, can you just put me on a payment plan? They'll say, sure. Just start paying us, make it consistent. If you default, we're going to come after you. But if you're willing to work with them, they'll work with you. Where it gets tricky is where you can't pay the balance within 72 months and also much higher balances. So if you go over 120, 150, 200,000, that's where they might say, hold the phone here. We might need the money sooner. Or if the debt is getting close to expiring. So there's a few monkey wrenches in here. If you've got that can make it where you don't qualify for this 72-month rule. If you have a shorter time period before the debt expires, it might not be 72 months, it could be 36 months, and then the monthly payment goes through the roof. And so a lot of times people call in and they say, look, the IRS wants $2,000 to $3,000. There's no way I can do it. And that's what the IRS is going to want for, because what do they want? They want to get paid. Number one, they want to get paid. That's their job, collect money. So what happens if you can't afford to pay what they want or to pay off the debt within 72 months? This is where it's so important to know your rights and know that you have the right to pay what you can afford to pay. It's in the taxpayer bill of rights. So in that, you can go through your financial information, and let's say they show that they want you to pay $2,000 a month. But by your financial information, you can only pay $200 a month. And you have to use the IRS financial analysis. All they can ask for you to pay is $200 a month. I've set people up on installment agreements for $50, $100. They had some extra income, but not very much. So we set them up on these, what's called a partial pay installment agreements, where you're only going to be able to pay a part of the total before that time runs out. Now they can come back after a couple of years and say, okay, your income has gone up, and they can tell by what's on your tax returns. Let's revisit this. So if I set someone up on a payment plan for $100 a month, 3 years down the road, the IRS might come back and say, hey, you owe us $100,000 still. Can we revisit things? But that gives you a good time period, and there's no exact time to it. But while you're making those payments, the time is clicking, time is moving as to when those tax debts will fully expire. So that the older your tax debt is, the more likely it's going to go away quicker. And we'll talk about that in a whole session. So again, it's don't feel like you're sunk if you can't pay what the IRS is asking for. Give us a call, and we'll review that with you. Again, 520-485-7371 or guardiantaxlaw.com. This is where it gets fun, is where someone can't pay what the IRS is asking them to pay. And analysis will give you all of your options and help you decide what's best for you and your family. And I've had people come in person, sit down with me, and we went over their case. And one case in particular was an elderly lady. And I said, look, we can do a partial pay and installment agreement, or if you want to move things around a little bit, you can do a hardship status and not pay anything. And she said, no, I want to pay the bill in full over time. And the kids were like, I understand what you're saying, but this is what she wants. I'm like, okay, I completely understand that. It's her choice. It's what they feel comfortable with. And so if you get into a situation where the state, now states are very different. I haven't mentioned this. When it comes to installment agreements, the states love installment agreements too. But you have to be very careful. With North Carolina, if you blow up one installment agreement, that's it. You won't get another one. Maryland, I believe, is the same way. California, some of the other states, you can set up payment plan. If something happens, you can reset it up. But some states have a partial pay installment agreement. California does. New York does not. So it really depends on the state. So if you have questions about a particular state, check with your tax professional. You can always give us a call, or you can check in with a tax attorney or a company that works with those particular states and handles state taxes. Most don't. But get informed, and that's your power.